Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Korean vlog look back, Korean teach and learn Korea experience. This video, actually, I spoke about this video, I think, but I'll probably speak about it again, about this particular day. This was like on the 27th of April 2015, and the funny thing is, this video's got a lot to do with today. Today is just one of those days, right? Exactly the same title as this video says, and let's try and let's get over to the video and see what happens. Yoink! And let me just do this and play.
You from Korea through the power of the internet and YouTube, and semi-live, as in a couple of hours later. You will see this a couple of hours after I've recorded this.
Cringy bastard.
I am having one of those days, right? And a friend of mine said it on Facebook perfectly. He had
I'm currently having that day.
the same kind of day. So I'm going to just sort of say what he said. This has been one of those days where you don't exactly know what is wrong, but something is off. Like a hazy cloud over me that I can't shake. Right? So let me just close that before that pops up again. Yeah, I woke up this morning and I was happy and everything, and then all of a sudden it was just gloomy. And I couldn't put my finger on it. You know, I'm like, I've had a brilliant weekend. I've been to a Buddhist temple this weekend, or the first part of the Buddhist temple. I'm going to actually go to the physical Buddhist temple next weekend on Friday. I've been to the courtyard where the people lived.
So this was, I told you about that hike I did in remembrance of the people who died. This would be the next Friday.
The actual Buddhist temple is still like an hour's hike north into the mountain. And apparently you can see a 600-year-old Buddha statue or carving, a Buddha carving in a rock thing there. So I really want to see that. And yeah, I've spent this weekend with the kids at that thing. They had some sort of festival thing going on. I was like, yeah, I'm there. It was beautiful. I met another Korean from my town, another teacher from my town there. It was amazing.
If I remember correctly, this was the Korean teacher that actually greeted me in Afrikaans and had a conversation with me. Like, he's like, hey, how are you? Like, all in Afrikaans. I'm like, I'm fine, thanks, and you? And he's like, no, I'm good. Where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from South Africa. I'm in a town called Bloemfontein. He's like, oh, and this is in completely Afrikaans. He's like, oh, how far is that from Pretoria? From Cape Town? I'm like, oh, no. We're closer to Johannesburg. I'm about 10 hours away from Pretoria. And he looked at me. He's like, what? And then I had to translate it into English.
I've seen him in like 4 months or something. It was cool to catch up. And it was beautiful, man. It was just brilliant. I got a little bit of sunburn. It's gone now by the time, okay.
Man, I don't know what to talk about,
yeah,
right?
The sun is really sneaky here in Korea. Really, really sneaky. It's a sneaky little bastard. Yeah, so I couldn't find, there's no reason why I should feel this way. I mean, I'm happy. I've got my health. I've spoken to my family this weekend. I've Skyped with them. Everything is going good. It's just that that cloud, right? Hopefully it's gone by the time you see this. Hopefully it's gone by during the week.
Yeah, exactly like I said here. Hopefully it's gone by the time you see this, which is a day after I do this recording. Oh yes, I am a bit behind on my videos. Hopefully we can catch up with them in this week. But let's continue on. That's beside the story. Beside the point.
And that is basically that. I had a class today, and this is the sad thing. Oh, man. So, my kids, basically, my 3rd and 4th graders today, worked, on the school farm almost the entire day. So they were pretty spent by the time I got to see them.
So, not the school farm, but more like the school garden, where they grow their own, especially sweet potatoes. I remember there's one kid, and I'm talking about sweet potatoes being this big, right? I'm literally holding a sweet potato like that. And I remember the one kid, Mr. Korean. He was a kid who tried to teach me Korean like after lunch every day. And he runs up to me, he's like, "Oh, teacher, eat." And I'm like, yes, I'll eat it. He's like, "Teacher, no, you eat now." And I'm like, "Oh, if you eat it raw, you're going to shit." And he's like, "Yes, teacher." Well, I didn't say that, but I'm like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yes, teacher, cook." I'm like, "Ah, okay. We need to cook first. Because if I eat a goguma or a sweet potato raw, I will poop."
And I've had this whole exciting lesson plan planned out with I like, don't like, and different kind of fruits. There's like 6 or 7 different kind of fruits that I can give them vocabulary for with the Korean, how to pronounce it in Korean, then it sounds like the English pronunciation or whatever. And which is quite easy because most of the fruit is like, some of the fruits actually like, oh yeah, that's the same in Korean. Well, not really, but they know the English word for it because it's in juices and all that. So I got that planned out. I had like 2 worksheets where they would say what kind of fruit they like, all the kind of cool stuff. And then I would tell.
I remember this as being one of the like 4 lesson plans I made my entire time that I was there. Now, when I say lesson plans, I'm talking about taking completely like I was using, at this stage, I believe I was using the books. So I would take what the books do and create a lesson plan around it. And sometimes, like in this case, I'd go like, let's expand on the book. So I'd make a separate lesson plan not to do anything, not that hasn't got anything to do with what's in the book. And I believe this was one of them. Most of my lesson planning was literally looking at the books the morning, going, cool, this is what we're going to do today. And during my lunchtime, I'd work out like quick lesson plans. Usually what they expected of you, and I'm sorry, Teach and Learn in Korea program, the TaLK program, I'm sorry. What they expect you to do is plan your weeks ahead or even a month ahead with your lesson plans. I never did that. 90% of my lesson plans I winged, mainly because I would see what the kids would feel like at that day or how they would feel at that certain day. And it could either be just a game day or it could be actual lessons. 90% of the time of those days were game days, but they still learned. But it was generally like my lesson planning. If I say I planned for a lesson, that means I spent at least the day or 2 before the time, before said day, to plan out the lesson. And these were one of these days. This was like one of the lesson plans I actually planned for. Well in advance. I was prepared for this day. And then this happened.
Tell them a little story, and then they should tick off if the certain people in the story like certain fruit. And then afterwards I would have them like, so do you think he liked this fruit? Did you say he liked this fruit? And, I would like check their listening skills and everything. It was like a massively one of the better planned lesson plans that I had. And they were too tired. Which is a cool thing for me, because now this lesson plan just goes over to the next time, but they were too tired working in the fields. And the sad thing is, in the school fields, the sad thing is this, for 90% of them, that is their future. I don't have anything against farmers.
Okay, so a bit of context here. A bit of context here. The kids growing up in these rural communities will eventually they have these dreams, right? They have these dreams of like being these big people and celebrities and everything. But the reality, and the sad reality of it is, they will most likely become farmers in the community, and that's about it, That's the sad part. Like, some of them will get out of this. And I'm not saying being a farmer is bad, but essentially, like, what'll happen is the kids will reach, like, age like 15 years of age, and they'll start working in the farms when they're not at school, on the fields when they're not at school. And that will become their lives. That'll become their lives. They'll be farmers. They'll, they'll get kids, and hopefully they will, try and get their kids to grow up to be, I'm not saying better than them, but hopefully they'll get their kids to get out of this cycle of, oh, you're in a small town, you're going to become a farmer. As far as I could tell, the way Korea is going now, most likely more kids are getting out of that than sticking to it. But Korea needs farmers, and Korea needs people working the fields. But like I said, for some of those kids, that is their future. They'll be going to school, and once they're finished with school, in the sense of like at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they'd go work on the fields. And, it'll be ingrained in them, and like once they finish school, they'll just continue on working the fields. Yes, some of them might enjoy it, but it's quite a sad story. Hopes and dreams being crushed at 15 is kind of the reality of these kids.
I don't have anything against farmers. Let me just reiterate that for a third time. I don't have anything against farmers. I mean, they give us food. They get us food, whatever, however, and spices and all that. The problem is these kids have have such big dreams,
Holy balls.
They will.
It's as if I watched this video, but I didn't. I literally stopped watching this video about 2 minutes, like about there. I stopped. I'm like, cool, let's continue on. Let's go blind into the rest of this video. Well, I'm probably going to repeat what I just said. Whoops.
90% of them, let's say 90% of them will stay in that town or in this area. And they will either become like some sort of law official or a farmer. And some of them is like the one guy, he wants to be like an astronaut, the one kid. The other one wants to be a doctor. It is possible.
Indeed it is.
But unfortunately, if that education can't be afforded, then they become a law official or a farmer. I know my dream, I never actually had one of those dreams. I wanted to be a firefighter when I was way young.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to be a space engineer, a rocket scientist.
Never got that.
And then I jumped around and all that, and now I'm sitting here in Korea teaching English and talking crap on YouTube. Talking with you guys on YouTube.
6 years later, still doing it. Oh, but I'm having fun.
Funny how life turns out. But my biggest concern with them is they will... It's like accepted fact. Like if you talk to anyone in that community, it's like, yeah, I'm teaching my son to become a farmer. He will not have a choice. My daughter will work the fields when she leaves school. She will not have a choice. That's sad, right?
It is.
But I believe that with a little bit of motivation, they can go so much further. There's one girl in my class from last year, she was grade 6. She wanted to become an artist. I told you about her.
Oh, yeah, and she is, actually. She's actually very good currently. Yeah, she is.
And I told you, like, how I told her, just frickin' push for it. And she's like moved out of that town now. She's in the middle school. She's out of that town in the middle school in my town. Her prospects are a little bit better, and I'm glad for that. I hope I can reach a couple of kids this year to actually go for their dreams. The year is still reasonably fresh, so hopefully that will happen. And what else? Yeah, this is me rambling.
Indeed rambling, okay.
Yeah, so the whole cloud over me thing...
Oh, here we go.
This will pass. It was the first time...
It will pass currently for me as well, trust me.
Since I got in South Korea, where I was like, really, I took that slight dip. And I'm just waiting for the comeback, the slight, now I'm going back up again. Hopefully, and this helps me a lot, by the way, this talking to you guys.
Indeed it
helps
does.
me a lot. Hopefully by the time...
Streaming does help with that as well, trust me. It helps with that too. It's freaking amazing to stream and just rant on stream, basically.
Time I Twitch stream tonight, it will be better. That is in about an hour. But I believe that everything will be okay. It's just a dip.
Okay, it seems, if I remember correctly, and I think this is most of the time what happened, is I got home, took a shower, and then did one of the videos, and about an hour or so after I ate, I would stream. Not every day though, but I would stream. And it got to that point where people in my town was like, "Are you streaming tonight?" "No." "Okay, cool, let's go out."
Just a dip. At some point during the day, I thought it was depression trying to get a hold of me, because I have battled with depression in the past, like way in the past, but I've won that battle, right? So I'm just hoping. I thought at one point today is like, maybe this is happening again, and then I'm like, no, you know what? And then I started looking around me, going, look at the beautiful flowers, look at what you're doing for these kids, look at how they interact with you. This is not what your life is made up of. You've won the battle. And then I fell asleep on the bus on the way here, woke up, didn't know where the hell I was. Apparently I was in my hometown, but the bus had to refuel and get rid of its money box.
Oh, I remember that. So basically, the bus usually stops at the bus terminal, and when I woke up, I looked around and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm surrounded by buses, but this is not the place. So when I got off, I walked out and just looked down the street. I'm like, oh, this is technically still the street this is still the street I live in. I just have to walk across this one river bit in my hometown, and I'll find familiar things. I think I might be talking about it in a few seconds.
Like where the people, the money box in buses, like, I had to get rid of that. I never knew that part of the town existed, and it's literally 300 meters away from my house.
Told you.
So that's another area I need to go explore over the weekend, which I'm going to do probably. See what that area of town brings in.
Purposefully getting lost.
And then that's basically it. I'm healthy. My smoking cessation, the smoking thing has gone down. I'm looking at this now. I'm on 10 cigarettes a day. Roughly. The thing is, what happens is I set aside 10, and that's for the day. That's what I smoke. And usually when I wake up the next morning, there's still some left. Right? So it's like,
this was me being very successful at stopping to smoke.
Some left. I add another 10, and I smoke, and then there's more left and more left. And it's happened twice already, where I've woken up and counted the cigarettes, like, oh, there's already 11 in here, so I don't need to add another 11, so...
Or another 10.
That's going well. That's really going well. Next week I will be on 9.
Maybe I should try that. Put aside 10 cigarettes for the day and vape the rest. Maybe I should try that again. Interesting.
Let's see if that works. I will be on 9. I will try and cut myself down to 9. I'm also going to go for the e-cigarette thing, just to try and cut down a bit.
Oh yeah, those e-cigarettes were really crap. This is the better version.
On the cigarettes thing. Later this week I'm going to buy myself some liquid, and hopefully that'll help me too. Because I want to wean myself off of nicotine.
Yeah. Still doing that 6 years later.
That's the big thing. This video has been going on for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, let's
Edited.
continue on. Yeah.
Comment down below if you want to know anything.
Okay, that is about it. So let's get back into the video and just press escape, exit full screen. Yeah, that's it. It's one of those days. Not gonna lie, it's one of those days. By the time you see this video, it might have passed. It's also, what doesn't help is currently it's freaking hot in South Africa at the moment. It's like 26, 27 degrees Celsius, which is about lower 90s-ish, maybe upper 80s, lower 90s Fahrenheit. And yeah, that's that video. I remember that video. Like, that was the Goguma, the kids working in the school farm, which was quite cool. And I got there at school, and they were doing that. And it's one of those things. And again, like earlier in the video, I talked about I met my kids at that Buddhist temple at Sanunsa, and I was like, okay. I went there. The teachers told me, like, this Saturday the kids were going to be there, and I was like, I'm going to be there too, to show support for the kids. And it was amazing. It's one of those things that people just don't generally do, or the teachers don't generally do in Korea. They try not to interact with their kids outside of school. And I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to interact with my kids outside of school and show them a good, show my good face. Show them, like, hey, I'm here for you guys and girls. And it was pretty damn amazing, And then the next weekend I hiked up Sanunsa Temple or Sanunsa Mountain, and it was quite a lot of fun. And then again on the Monday, after I spent time with the kids, they were busy in the garden. And then I found out that they make their own kimchi for the school. I'm like, oh, cool. And all sorts of things like that. It was quite, I remember that weekend now. It's like, whoa, giving me a bit of happiness for today. The cloud that I was speaking about in the video, and it's hanging over me. It's just, my big thing currently, and I'm going to ramble a bit, my big thing currently is I'm just listless. I don't want to do anything. To be perfectly honest, I had to force myself to do this video, which in the past I didn't have to. It just basically means I need to wake up earlier in the mornings, do the videos while it's still cold, and I'm still awake, and I'm still, like, happy, because right now my energy levels are down low. And this is probably the earliest I've done these videos in a long time, this particular type of video. So hopefully, like, I might just have to sleep a lot less, and maybe sleep during the afternoon while it's hot, and yeah, try and get the afternoon to pass. Maybe that'll be a thing. Okay, I'm rambling now. That was a Korean video about one of those days, basically. And we're about halfway through of the Korean vlogs, and this is cutting out all the Jan Afrika vlogs. Yeah, the next one seems to be rambling about school and being something. Probably an introvert. Yeah, being an introvert. That's going to be interesting. Yeah, we've got about, like, maybe 10 to 15 more of these to go through before we hit the sad times. So, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Like I said, I'm rambling. It's hot. I can't focus. I'm rambling. It's hot. I will see you in the next one. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I love you all. And again, tell someone that you love them today and hug them. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one until then. Cheers.